This talk is going to be about fear because what I notice is there's a lot of people that are always wondering what should I do, when should I do it, and I think there's an emotional kind of reaction that's happening for a lot of people, and we're not realizing where it's coming from. So I really want to speak about how fear is one of the most impactful driving emotions when it comes to the markets themselves. Okay, and in crypto, imagine this: when the market is down, you are scared that it's just going to keep going lower and lower, that you're going to keep losing money forever. So the fear is this thing is crashing and it's going to go to zero, therefore I'm not going to buy it. When you're at the top of the market, the fear is if I sell it now, I will make less money. So you're fearing missing out on the money that you'll make. So fear of missing out, FOMO, of the amount of money you won't make if you sell it now and take the money out. Still fear at the top. It just feels like euphoria. When you're in the middle of the market, the fear is I don't know if it's going to go down or go up, right? So it's a mix of those two fears. So then you have, when it's going up in the middle, you have the fear of missing out on all those gains. When it's going down, it's the fear of maybe it just keeps going lower. So it's just that fear that is always running in the background, right? That's why nobody makes money. Like scared money don't make money. That is an old quote, and it's so true, right? It so if you condition your nervous system, I've written this all out, so I really want to make sure I'm following through on it. So if you condition your nervous system to react to your feelings, then you are hooked into the market control mechanism. Okay? Because if the market the market going up or down changes your emotional state, causes you fear one way or another, or euphoria or anger, then you are effectively right where they want you. That number on the screen is controlling your emotional reactions, right? If the market controls your emotions through your nervous system, then it controls your actions. And that's how people are now automated. People are controlled by AI through the markets, okay? This journey is an emotional, educational journey. Your first crypto cycle is going to be one hell of a journey. You are going to ride the entire waves of emotion. Now, we're human, so feeling the emotions is not, I'm not saying don't feel the emotions, okay? It's about using the emotions as a signal. The best investors use the emotions as a signal to tell them what they should do and what they shouldn't do. They don't use the emotions to make the decisions, but they use the emotions to know if they're feeling a certain way, other people must be feeling that way as well. Therefore, often the decision is the opposite of what the emotions are showing you, okay? That's why working on your emotions is so crucial. Especially as men, we ignore our emotions, which actually makes it easier in the markets, right? Because we can be more cold and ignore the emotions really well, actually. We're really good at ignoring our emotions. Professionals, really. One of the top psychologists on Real Vision said that the best investors use their emotions as a signal. They're very tuned in to their emotions, but the real skill is to be tuned into everybody else's emotions, right? So the first time you go through this journey, really pay attention to how you're feeling. How are the people around you feeling? And I would even keep a journal of how you're feeling at which times and what happened that made you feel like that. Using that skill set, then the best investors are able to project forward and see what emotions people will be feeling 6 months from now. What emotions will they be feeling 18 months from now? And you invest in that. That if today the fear is so high that we're going to go to zero, then I'll buy it now because in 6 months the fear is probably going to be the fear of missing out, right? So being tuned into the others' emotions and being able to project others' emotions forward in time is crucial, right? If you can figure out how to understand the emotions the world will feel down the road, then you can make a trade today that will be profitable tomorrow. Okay? So when we look at this kind of journey, it's always a pendulum, right? So if there's insane fear right now, that means we're at the bottom of the fear cycle, and it's probably going to go to euphoric state later on. And now if it's euphoria now, it's probably going to go back to fear, right? That's why when Bitcoin, was at 73, everybody's like, oh my God, here we go. We're all going to get rich, euphoria. And I'm getting calls like, oh my God, Sam, I just made so much more money than I've ever made in my entire life. Multiple people called me for that. I was like, okay, this is euphoria. This is the time to take some money off the table and take your profits, because the next thing that usually comes is fear, right? Now, what is about to happen, in my approximation, is the level of fear in the world is about to increase at a rapid pace. Before the end of 2024, it's very likely that something will hit that will put us back into the levels of fear that we had during COVID. Now, initially, that causes a massive drop in the markets. Fantastic. Have some cash on the side, buy up that dip. But in that panic, just remember that fear being that strong is exactly what's required for us to then go to the euphoric state where we print a bunch of money and we all get rich, okay? And one thing I've realized is when it seems really obvious that you're going to get rich, that's when you don't, okay? Let's call it but by they I mean rich people, the market itself, right? The people who know how to run the market, Wall Street, London, have no intention of having you on the boat when the assets pump. Last time we knew crypto was going to pump in 2020. Many people knew. Many people were ready for it. And then COVID hits and we all forgot about it, right? Something so scary happened that we were so busy with life that most people forgot to actually enter the markets or whatever. This time around, too many people are sure that they're going to get rich, which leads me to believe that something very scary has to happen to shake those people's beliefs and get them out off the boat before the real, bull run happens, and we have the kind of magical growth that is gonna happen out there. So, the reason why I wanted to mention this is because it's really important to sit and think like, where is that fear coming from? And a lot of the fear comes from not understanding why it's happening, right? If the market's at a bottom and you think it's going to keep going lower, you don't know when the crash is done because you don't have the knowledge of why it's happening. And our thesis is that everything's happening because of money printing. So when money's being printed, assets will keep going up. When the money printing stops, assets will stop growing. When the money printing reverses and the money supply is shrinking, assets will go down. Knowing that, then you can have an understanding of which direction things are going. Now, where we are today, we're in this kind of no man's land where crypto's just been bouncing around in a range. At that point, you don't know if it's going to go one way or another. So I just wait until it makes a decision, right? That's why I also look at so much data from so many different sources, and I build my own thesis, because that's why it's so important to have your own thesis when it comes to investing. You have to have an understanding that makes sense to you of why you're making the decisions that you're making, right? If your thesis is that the dollar is going to devalue over time, that the world is becoming risky, and crypto is the future, and technology is going to keep growing, and I'm a long-term investor, and that's why you buy technology and crypto, then you're going to have a great time, even during the volatility. You have a 5-10 year time horizon, you have a deep understanding of why it's valuable, it makes sense to you, and you have conviction. If your thesis is, my friend told me to buy it, or I saw it on YouTube, or it looks like it's a good idea, or some like vague reason without a concrete foundation, the moment some volatility happens, you're going to get shook out, right? And that's where the fear comes from. So that's it. If you really don't want to be fearful, just meditate. Secondly, don't attach your self-worth to that number on the screen. Okay, when it goes up, you're not rich. You're still in the same place until you sell it and actually improve your lifestyle. When it goes down, you're not broke until you sell it and actually take the loss. Okay? Whatever fluctuations happen in the middle, don't let that control your emotions. when it does control your emotions, go to the side, away from your assets, sit and feel those emotions. Really soak them in. Men, especially you. I'm looking at you. Yeah, you and you and you, all three of you. Really feel your emotions, because then you're able to sense what the world must be feeling, right? Like, let me tell you which emotions you're feeling right now. Uncertainty, money's kind of tight. You're watching out for things. You're trying to figure out which direction you want to go, but it seems a little unclear. There's always just random stuff kind of happening. The old world that you came from is changing, so it feels like there's so much change happening so fast that it's hard to get along with. People have been kind of bickering with each other. There's a lot of kind of infighting going on in different places. Just there's this mood of like people are going through shit. It's hard to make ends meet. A lot of times you might feel hopeless from like, fuck, what am I doing? And this just keeps going forever. Yeah, that's the numbers on the market, right? In a year now, a year and a half, you will. I'll do the emotional report then again, where you'll feel completely different, right? And so if you resonate with any of this stuff, I'm a psychic. I looked into my crystal ball, and what it says is something big's coming before the end of the year, and that's the bell that rings, that starts the money printing, potentially states of emergency, potentially crazy shit, But all of that is a boon for crypto. Just don't get scared in the middle. Meditate more, and yeah, I'll see you in the next meditation.